अभी इंग्लिश कम
हिंदी बोल सकते हैं थोड़ा थोड़ा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णम् उदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ईश्वरस्यामिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यं जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता मा घृतः कस्य सुदनं कुर्वाणेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषक्षतं समः एवं त्वयिनान्यते तोस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे। असूर्यनामते लोक अन्धेन तमसावृतः तंस्ते प्रत्यभिगच्छन्ति ये केचात्महनो जनः। अनेजादिकं मनसो जभियो नैनादेवाप्नुवं पूर्वनर्षत् तद्धावतो न्यनतेति चिष्ट तस्मिन्नपुमतरीश्व ददाति तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्दुरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्य सेवायतः यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मानि वानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं ततो न विजुगुप्सते। यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मैवाद्भुद्विजानतः तत्र को मोहकाशोक एकत्वम् अनुपश्यतः। सपर्यगच्छुक्रम् अकायमव्रणम् अश्नाविरं शूरमपापवीरं कविर्मनीषी परिभू स्वयं भूर्यतत्यतोर्थान् व्यरदशस्वतीभ्यः समाभ्यः अन्दन्तम प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय एव ते तामो य उविद्यायां रतः अन्यादेव हुर्विद्यया अन्यराहुरविद्यया इति शुश्रुमतीराणां येनस्तद्विचक्षुरे विद्यां च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः अविद्यायां ऋतुं तीर्त्वा विद्यायां ऋतुम् अश्नुते अन्दन्तम प्रविशन्ति ये सम्भूतिम् उपासते ततो भूय एव ते तामो य सम्भूत्यां रतः अन्यदेव हुर्सम्भवात् अन्यराहुरसम्भवात् इति शुश्रुमतीराणां येनस्तद्विचक्षुरे सम्भूतिं च विनाशं च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः विनाशेन ऋतुं तीर्त्वा सम्भूत्यां ऋतुम् अश्नुते। हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्य पिहितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषाण्डपावृणु सत्यधर्मय दृष्टये पूषाणि कर्षयमसूर्यप्रजापत्य व्यूहरस्मिन् समूहा तेजो यते रूपं कल्याणात्मं तत्ते पश्यामि सावसा पुरुषः सोमस्मि। वायुरनीलममृतम् अतेदं भस्मन्तं शरीरम् ॐ क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर अग्नेनाय सुपदराय अस्मन् विश्वानि देव वायुनानि विद्वान् यो योद्यस्मश्चुहरानमेनो भूयिष्ठं तेन मुक्तिं विधेम। श्रीशुपनिषत् सम्पूर्णं हरि ॐ। We waiting for translation?
They understand English.
Okay. Would you like to ask any questions?
They wanted an insight on how the monthly Sankirtan festival should happen. There are some issues also that we have.
Well, why don't you tell me the issues?
Yeah, initially some devotees suggested that we should have it on Sundays so that there will be a lot of congregation. But then one or devotees they feel that Sundays, everybody has a program, but then they feel that we should have it on public holidays. When this was like, there was some, we were discussing on this. We are not able to decide the date.
Let's discuss how to fix the date.
How to fix the date, yeah.
Date and devotees, one means you see we have 80 devotees, then how should we organize?
But should they go at one place or different places?
So you started already MSF here?
Huh?
No. You're just planning.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So there are 2 points you said, how to fix the date, correct? And second thing is how to fix the venue.
First thing is how to fix the date, and second is how to fix the date. So, venue.
The spot.
Venue.
An organizing team also.
Well, we find that having the monthly Sankirtan festival at times when it doesn't conflict with other major programs is the most beneficial, because when there are other programs going on, then people are busy and they have duties to do. We also like to fix the date near the special days like Nityananda Trayodasi and Guru Purnima and Ram Navami and the Shringa Chaturdasi, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day, and then Prabhupada's appearance day, and then we have Janmashtami. Well, after that we have Radhashtami, and when we do it around the holy days, we're inviting all the congregation to go out based on doing it as a kind of worship. For instance, Nityananda Prabhu, he used to go out door to door, right? Correct? He would knock on doors. So we go out to worship Lord Nityananda for his day, but we'd maybe like the weekend before that. And then on Nityananda Trayodasi, then we offer the results to Lord Nityananda in a grand ceremony. Like as part of the festival, when all the guests are there and everything, then you carve out like 10 minutes to announce, here's the places we went, this is the books we distributed, things like that, and you're offering it to Lord Nityananda. Same thing for Gaur Purnima. So that's one of the ways that we do the picking of the dates. And as far as venues go, you go and look around town and find places where you can have access to the kind of people that you're trying to reach. Like we were just in Ahmedabad, and one day we went to the Bhadrakali Square. You know where that is?
Bhadrakali Temple.
Bhadrakali Temple, it's a bazaar. And in that bazaar, there's thousands, tens of thousands of people. And then the next day, we went downtown to some mall. Yeah, and there's lots of people out. You get to figure out like where's the best place where devotees can go, and you look around town and you keep a list of all the places that you can go out to. And there may be different venues. Sometimes it's in malls area, sometimes downtown, sometimes door to door, and oftentimes there's events, like there's festivals, events where people are displaying things. Like in America we have around October a pumpkin festival. Sometimes there's Diwali festivals. If you can get a permit to go to those places and get a table set up, those are nice also. Does that help? Any more questions about the picking a date? It's nice to be flexible on the date because, you know, if you pick out custom-made dates for the MSF that will work for most people, then you can plan for that. And again, it means that it's on a time when other things aren't happening. Like if you pick a date when there's some other program going on, like just say there's a Swami in town giving a talk somewhere else, and then you do your MSF, everyone will, split up. You may get divided attention. So you try to pick the times that are not so busy. Yes, Prabhu?
Like as you told, these festivals which comes every month, like Nasin Chaturdasi and other things. In many of these festivals, because most of the devotees are congregation devotees, so they don't have company holiday. Although these are the Gaudiya Vaishnava festivals, but corporate holidays are not there. So
well, I'm not saying go on that day. You don't have to. Yeah, like weekend is usually when we go out. we call weekend warriors. Actually, there's a term like that in the military in America, because some people they go into the military, but they're only called on weekends because they work. So, for grahastas and people could go out on weekends. Saturday's a good day. Usually, it's a shopping day in the town, and most people have off on Saturday, right?
Yeah, they have Sunday. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
business.
mostly Sunday.
Saturday
Mostly
they work.
Saturday they work.
Saturday, it's business.
IT only, they have like 2 days.
Well, you could ask Modi to make a holiday then for the MSF.
Here is Sunday.
So basically, what Prabhu said, bro, theme, right? MSF theme. You have a festival, like every festival.
Yeah.
But the day you pick to go out, like you do a program, is that any Sunday which is free Sunday, like not some Maharaj comes and all. And one point Prabhu always says, you fix for next 6 months, preferably a year. At least 6 months you can fix so that everybody knows this day we are. And no, like even some programs don't plug into that day especially. So.
Prabhu?
On that monthly Sankirtan festival, all the devotees with only books or Mridang Kartal also and
You can bring Madanga Kartal also.
some Sankirtan?
Yeah, some Sankirtan's nice if the venue permits it. So let's say you have an area where you could have nice Madanga Kartal, and then nearby book distribution is good. Huh?
Mahamantra banner or like that something.
Yeah, you can do that too. You can have nearby. Like one of the things that we do is we have sit-down Harinam, and then we have a few tables, and then devotees can distribute nearby. So the two things go nicely, Harinam, book distribution. If you have the area that will accommodate that, then you can do that too. And we also distribute prasad. Like, we hand out something simple, like something dry wrapped, that we can give to each person. So you're giving a lot of prasad. Because when congregation members come, if they're not trained yet on book distribution, at least if they can give something, they get in the mood of giving. So there's a nice feeling that they did something. Prabhu, you were going to ask?
Yeah, but then we have seen in Harinam, Harinam and book distribution accompanied with Harinam. Normally it happens, and most of them they get into Harinam actually. And
it depends. Like in Chicago, we did our first monthly Sankirtan festival. I think 92 people came, and so we had 4 spots in the city. And we took out a bus and we dropped everybody off. Everybody had a number, 1 through 4. And then, you stop at the first stop and say, all the 1s get off the bus, all the 2s get off next stop. And then we had a table, and also, so you could do Harinam and book distribution. But before we went for the book distribution, we did some training and also explaining why book distribution is so important. So we thought, have a facility for both, just so people could stay engaged. And most people thought, a lot of people were going to do Harinam, few people do book distribution. But because people were trained and they had good reason in their head, most people went for book distribution. We were surprised. So one of the reasons that people, oftentimes they like to do Harinam and not book distribution is because it's easier. Anybody can go on Harinam and, chant, which is nice. But when you think of book distribution, it's a few levels higher in difficulty. But if you take that difficulty away by training, then you'll find that the people will want to go on book distribution also. What else?
Regarding the venue, if we have more people, then we need to mix some group. And what is the optimal number of devotees in one group?
It depends on the venue, because every venue is different. Like Bhadrakali Square, we had, it was big enough so we could have a lot of people. But you want to split the devotees up so they can stay engaged. and not overload a particular area. So sometimes we move into different, several different teams. If you have a lot of devotees, you split them up into different teams. You were going to say something?
I was trying to ask which spots you pick typically. It's house to house, door to door.
Mostly door to door.
Yeah.
Door to door.
People's door to door. Right? So typically 2 to 3 is good. Kind of.
Well, also, if there's a big apartment complex, right? And so sometimes we go to these big apartment buildings, maybe there's 1,000 units, right? So maybe 10, even 15 people go there, but then they split up. And, we have one person that makes sure that everybody goes to the right direction. So we'll make several teams, 5 teams, and you go, these teams go there, these teams that have these number of apartments, and you meet here at this time. And then we have somebody that, if they need more books, that person gets the books, brings them back to the people. It's like military. When the military goes out in the battlefield, they split up. They look at the map. They say, enemy's here and here. So we're going to attack from here and here and here. And the supply chain comes in, because they have to bring the bombs. Prabhupada said these books are like bombs. And he said the temple is a base from which we go out. Can you understand me? This devotee in the back?
No.
You tell him about the bombs. Tell him the bombs. Yeah. The books are, he said, the temples are bases from which we go out to fight with Maya. And he said, fighting with Maya, temples are bases, like military bases, from which we go out to fight with Maya. And Prabhupada said, fighting Maya means dropping hundreds of thousands of books into the laps of the conditioned soul. Any of you here in the military? Military right here.
NCC training.
Military NCC. So this military training, it's like very precise. You're fighting a war, so you don't want to, it's not a joke. You actually have to plan out very carefully. Where are the men going to go? How's the food going to get there? How's the bombs going to get there? Where's the enemy? How do we attack? So you have to think carefully. You should have a big map. Is this your Sankirtan room?
No, this is seminar, meeting.
Where's the Sankirtan room? You should have a Sankirtan room and have a big map of Baroda. The whole city. Or maybe it's electronic and you can have a couple TV sets that show different views of Baroda, and then you plan it out. It's like, here are all the places. Your streets, have a database that shows all the places you're going to go. And start, collect it like military. Then you have to train your people up. People have to know how to communicate when they go out. Otherwise, they won't be able to be successful. Because they have to know how to pick ripe fruits. And go on Sankirtan, you don't try to talk to everybody, but you try to talk to the people who are open. And if you train your congregation, then they'll have confidence when they go out. What are the things? You have to have good prasadam. Good prasadam because when you're inviting lots of people to come, you have to feed them. And if you feed them, they'll come. Living entities will come from other planets if you put good prasadam. Prabhu?
I was not there this morning. Any chance of a short demonstration?
Sure. Which kind of demonstration would you like?
Like what you did in Ahmedabad, practically going out just a short half an hour.
Oh, you mean from here?
Yes, so that those people who did not attend. Because
I see.
Practically, it's like really the impact.
It makes an impact.
Yeah.
It's a huge impact. Is that possible?
Anything's possible, but we'll have to discuss because we're going to want to.
Tight shape.
Yeah, we're in a tight schedule.
You were there
Yes, I was there.
He was there. Prabhu was there.
Three were
After
there.
Prabhu.
Three were there.
Also there.
He and he.
So you have men trying now.
Yes.
The master.
And they keep doing it, they'll get. At least these 4 people should implement what they learn. And if they practice it, the principles, they can tell
Yeah,
others.
like, why don't you say what you saw when we were there right now? Why don't you tell the devotees?
I mean,
You can just say one principle which you like,
yeah,
just for others.
we were more open. Or you were more open and
Straightforward.
yeah, straightforward. And people were able to see that, and it's like doors were opened rather than, and the approach was, how do you say? I mean, people were not, and some were threatened in the beginning, but then they broke down, the barriers were broken down quite quickly, and they understood that, you're not, how do you say?
You're not trying to sell something.
Yeah, you're not trying to just sell something or something like that.
So one of the principles was that we don't condescend. We're not coming as like, I'm going to teach you something you don't know. We come and our mood is like, you already know this. You know more than I do. We put them on the Vyasasana and we sit down and we're like this. And these people in Gujarat, they're very elevated anyway. They're very, very pious living entities who live on the earth. What to speak of Gujarat? They're like maybe the best in the world, maybe in the universe. So you have to treat them with great respect and appreciate the fact that you're not trying to teach them something. They already know this. And so I was telling them that you already know this. But what we're trying to do is help people all over the world who don't know this, and that you're instrumental in that, helping. That you should, we're asking for help to help other people, not you, because you already know. And I don't start by giving them a lot of books and saying, take the book or anything like that. I talk about them. I ask them, what their name is. I introduce myself. I ask where they're from. And it's a very personal kind of thing. The book thing, and I'll say for the donation, we're asking that the donation, we use this money to spread Krishna consciousness all over to people who don't have it. Did I interrupt? Were you going to say more? Okay. Prabhu?
Some devotees, they are not inclined in book distribution or like that, or they have no any inclination in book distribution like that. But they want to be a part of this, because everyone is going outside. What can I do? I also do something.
Yes.
So can some devotees also engage in prasadam
Yes.
or like that?
Yeah.
They are also part of this.
For many years at ISP, we advertise the MSF and we say, you can participate in 4 ways. One way is you can go out for book distribution and do it directly. Number 2 is you can give money. And we use it to, print, to sponsor books, so that the devotees who go out, they don't have to worry so much about how much they're going to get for each book. Third is they can do backup services. We need good cooks. We need people who can help, move around the energy. Like Hansapriya, she was moving a lot of things around so we could all go out without any worries. And number 4 is, if you can't do numbers 1 through 3, you can also be an advocate. It means just tell everybody it's a good idea. Like go around and say, yeah, the MSF is good. Tell people it's good. Write an email, say, you are doing a good job, please keep doing. So these 4 ways, everybody in the community can participate one of those 4 ways.
Direct distribution?
Direct book distribution, give money, do backup services like cooking, transportation, getting books ready, bringing books out, those kind of things. Or number 4, be an advocate. Tell everyone it's a good idea. That covers everybody. Everybody can do something. Prabhu?
One other thing I noticed is that there was no discrimination between who we approached. Like if somebody is driving a very fancy car, or somebody who just looks like a security guard maybe, or so there was no. I mean, the initial feeling, like you said, you put your radar out. But,
This means radar. Like I'll go like this. And then I could see if somebody looks back at me and they go, you know, or some people. So the discrimination starts from a distance. When I can see, I go like, and if they smile or they kind of, you know, whatever, they nod or something, then I know I can approach the person. You can see there's like an openness. But I don't waste my time. If a person's very negative, closed down, then I just keep looking for the ripe fruit. The person, ripe fruit, ripe, unripe, ripe, unripe, ripe, unripe.
The point that struck me, like I had faced this, that seeing the soul. Once I was not able to do book distribution, and then by Krishna's will, it happened that I thought that this is just a jiva, and I just have to, don't have to fear, and don't have to, you just have to show. That feeling is itself very helpful.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't have full control over the situation. We depend on Krishna when we show the book or when we explain what we're doing. I also, you know, I don't hand everybody a book. A lot of people, I don't hand them anything. I just make friends and I explain what we're doing, and then I tell them we're asking for money before I give them anything. I tell them that, you know, these books, we're printing them, we're distributing all over the world, and so that, you know better than me that solutions come from the spiritual platform. So we're trying to help people all over the world. And I noticed, you know, when I was talking to those people at the mall, I'd apologize to them. I say, you know, I want to apologize to you for interrupting you here and for imposing upon you. And they were like, no, it's okay, no problem, you know. But the more you treat them with respect, the more you put them up and keep yourself down, the more open their hearts are. And if you don't try to just give them a book, jam a book in them and say, you know, buy this, you know, you just hold it back. They know you have books. You don't have to, put it in their hand right away. For Indians, you can just tell them we're doing a fundraiser, we're collecting the money. And after they start giving money, then you can give them all kinds of books. Either way, you know, you can do it either way, but the main thing is to make the personal connection and don't be condescending, but actually respect them very deeply, especially that they already know this. Because that's the number one feeling that people get in India. When you give them a transcendental book, they're kind of like, you know, why wouldn't I know this? I already know this. But everybody's different. That one guy, I don't know how much he gave, but it was more than most people. And that big tall guy, yeah, with all the gold. He had gold here, everywhere. And he came out, he was a big tall guy, he was like, and he was like, hey, yeah, all right. You know, hey, I just got out of jail. He said, I was in prison. And you know, he wanted to buy the books. He was just like, hey, what else you got? You know, so each person's different.
That means we don't need to be judgmental of a person seeing their appearance.
Only if they're open or closed. That's the main. Ripe or unripe. And you run ripe, unripe. When you find somebody a little bit ripe, then you can start, you know, trying to open their heart and see how to talk to them. But humility works really well, and, you know, respecting them, complimenting them, appreciating them. You don't need to tell so much philosophy about the book. But the main thing is talking about them, like who they are, being interested in them and appreciating who they are. Then the more you appreciate, the more their heart opens, you know, then they'll change. You were going to say?
Yeah, we are conducting some program like DYS and some other program. So the people are coming from like 6 months, like they are in touch with us. So how they also can participate, or how to
involve
them also?
Definitely. You know, when you start new people, if you train them from the very beginning, then they think this is just what you do in the Hare Krishna movement.
Yes.
In fact, I'll tell you a story from our old days at ISV. ISV means our temple, ISKCON Silicon Valley. Here's what we used to do. At the Sunday program, I give a special talk, and it's in 2 parts. There's part 1 and part 2, and there's an intermission in the middle. So then I tell all about how, the practice of bhakti means giving to other people, and that the best thing you can give is knowledge, and the best way to deliver it is through transcendental books. And I explain, how Prabhupada came to America, he gave books, and that this is what we do. And then at the intermission, I stop and I say, now, anyone here that would like to try that, have a genuine experience for themselves, all you have to do is just walk out the door. We have the cars ready, and everyone have a clip. There was devotees there with a clipboard to write down the people's name and put them in a car. And then zip, they drive them out. And we tell them that you'll be back here by the time we're singing the Shringa prayers, and then after that you have prasad, so you won't miss anything. And so usually half the room and a lot of guests, first-time guests, they go out. So anyway, DYS, they could definitely, if you do the DYS and you add into the DYS this idea that, real bhakti means giving to other people. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, they broke open the storehouse of love of God, and they ate and distributed its contents, and the more they gave it away, the more the contents increased. And if you teach your new people that that's what we do, and invite them to come out, new people are the best, because they don't have any preconceived notion about what you can or can't do. They just know what you tell them is possible. I recommend it, personally. New people, when you train them from the very beginning, they're the best. No extra baggage. Mataji.
So I heard from few devotees, Western countries, when traveling their book distribution style is they collect the donation first, then they go out to distribute the books, and they just give out the books saying that whatever donation you want to give, you can give to the book. But here in India, generally we don't have that approach. And we tried once, but when we say whatever donation you want to give or whatever, people, they voluntarily don't donate the
Okay, a couple things. One thing, the first thing you said isn't true. In America, the West, it's not that we just collect the money first and then ask for any donation, but some places do that. From?
One devotee who had come from London or somewhere, he said that this is how they do it, that in the temple also before distribution, they say if somebody wants to donate for book distribution.
Yeah, I said that, for the MSF, people can donate, but it's not a universal principle. That's all I'm saying. It can help, but it's not like the only way that it's done. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a premise that's the only way it's done in the West. Some places do it, and some places do it a little bit, some places do it more. Some places don't do it at all, as far as subsidies go. But it doesn't hurt. But getting to the main point, which is, can it be done in India? And as far as asking for donations, the other day I was just out there, and I didn't put a set price on anything. And I got lots of big donations. I got a few smaller ones too, but it all comes out in the wash. So one thing that you can say is, we say, give the most you can. And when they're giving donation, I say, these cost us about 150 rupees, and anything you give over that is a donation. That's one thing. And the other thing is, if I haven't given them a book yet and I'm asking for donation, then there's no there's no negotiation anyway.
Yes.
Because it's like they're just going to give the most they like. And a lot of times they'll give enough for a big book or more, or sometimes they give less and then I give them a book and then they give more. But I can personally attest to the fact that, you know, people were giving nice donations. It's just a matter of, it doesn't mean, when something isn't happening, it doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means that there needs to be a little more training. I know that because I've had experience myself. I mean, I've gone to spots before where I thought, oh, it can't be done here. And then I saw somebody else, another devotee, doing it. And then I thought, oh, that's how you do it here. So there's an answer to everything. It's not that something can't be done. It's just that I don't have the key yet. Right? Because the devotees figure stuff out, because as Prabhupada told us in 1975 in Vrindavan, he said, every devotee has his or her own genius. And if you sincerely try, then he went like this, he said, the master within your heart will show you how to do it. And I've seen it so many times, devotees figure out how to do stuff that was not doable. I've also been in venues where I thought, this is impossible. I keep trying and nobody's taking, so I give up. And then the person next to me keeps trying and I think it's useless, let them try. And at the end of the day, they did big. And they just kept trying and I think, I'll never give up again, you know, because you don't know if you just keep doing. So there's a lot of variables. You know, when you're talking to each other and to others about book distribution, keep the door open. It's not that it's like, it's always like this in India, or it's always like, this is possible, this is not possible. Everything's possible. We may not have figured it out yet, but it's possible. There's a little combination on the safe. You have to like click, click, click. I got it, you know. So that's all I'm saying. Prabhu?
We normally say the printing cost of the book is this much. We specifically say for Indians, so they know in their mind that there is printing cost. We also distribute these books to colleges, which we do to others, which we give it for free. You can donate for this like that. We just add few points so that in a broader perspective. But in some cases, even they don't give. I personally give the books, but like if you do 10 people, even 2 people do less, 8 people do more. So it matches. But yeah, it takes some time to practice it, but it's possible.
Also, if you're subsidizing the books, it doesn't really matter anyway. Right? I mean, if you really are getting subsidies ahead of time, then what do you care how much they give? As long as they're interested. The main point with people donating is that we want them to take an interest in it. We don't want to just throw books out there to people who can't appreciate them. And the main reason we ask for donations anyway is if they give a donation, then their level of appreciation goes up. Prabhupada said that. So they'll give $10 for a book and then they'll walk away and they'll think, let's see what this rascal has sold me for my hard-earned money. So, you know, if I give a book to somebody and they're very, very interested, but they don't have money, you know, I say they paid attention. They gave something. Money's just a token. It makes them pay attention when they give something. And I tell them that. I say, the money's not for us. We don't need the money. It's for you. When you give something, it qualifies you to read the book.
Like in Ahmedabad, they were distributing, I gave the book, and I told that we don't ask for money, but we distribute, it's a big guy, we distribute books in colleges and other places, like to donate, we'll take. Then he thought about it, no, I just give the money for this book. How much it is? I said it's 150 printing cost, they give 150. Just telling you, if you tell a broader perspective, at least they'll give the cost you put the money.
Yeah, and the other point is you're leaving it to their free will.
Yeah.
And this is a paradox, but the fact is, I've experimented with this and I've seen others do it too. The more you put it to their free will, how much to do, the more they give, ultimately. Some people may give less, that's true. But in the end, some people, they'll give a lot more, and it comes out to more in the end. And I know it sounds a little scary, because you're leaving it up to them. But what I recommend is core and explore. The core thing's 80%. You know what you do, what you're comfortable with, do that. 20% of the time, experiment with stuff where you're a little scared, like, let me try it and see what happens. What's the worst can happen? We're already trying to get books out as much as we can. What's the big deal to us if we, a few people give less than we thought they were going to give, right? But in the course of taking some chances and experimenting, you get a lot of good experience that you can use over the long term.
The one thing I've seen in Kerala, BBT, we normally don't put the cost of the books. But in Kerala, especially only the one state, they have their own BBT. They put like 500 rupees Bhagavad Gita.
300
or
300 rupees.
like something like that. And they say, it's written 300, but we're giving for 150, 50%.
50% discount.
And everybody takes it.
Salem also they do the same.
They do that,
Yes.
but the problem with that is BBT of Mumbai cannot do that because there's a GST and audit issues.
Yeah. And local they put sticker.
So Kerala has a
Direct.
Okay, they print it in the book.
that's something to keep some people use.
The-
They put higher cost and it's a 50%.
The old Bhagavad Gita, when the Macmillan Gita first came out, it was a big, huge paperback about this big, and it had $4.95. That was a lot of money back then. $4.95 in the corner. It was actually part of the book when it first came out. But those are things you can experiment with. You can put stickers on and do things.
No, we do have such a devotee here. He is a Grasta, so he does book distribution. But the way you told that it just costs us 150 rupees, and over and above you can give as a donation. So he does, and he's distributing daily 3 Krishna books because he is having some lot of books for himself to distribute. So he does that way, and it's successful for him because people end up giving 200 or 250 rupees also sometimes.
Yeah.
One problem with the sticker is that they go to Ahmedabad
Yes.
temple, then the book is, we don't sell, we sell it around 150 store. So if it's like we lose the
Trust.
credibility. I mean, that's how they don't recommend you to put like that, because if in same Gujarat, if people go everywhere and they see there is a 200, there is 500 and 300.
Oh yes, that happens.
Yeah,
Sometimes people
One person.
My recommendation,
Sometimes in the same city they have different prices.
yeah, don't put any sticker like Prabhu was trying to tell. Just give the book and just say by word.
Yeah,
Printing cost is 150. Anything above, we use it for distribute more books. It's clean.
The other thing we were saying the other day was, they're saying, well, how much? Should I say, well, there's no minimum, but very importantly, there's no maximum. And you watch them, they're listening, no minimum, they're going, okay. And then you go, but very important, actually even more important, no maximum. And I watch them, their little smile comes on their thing. And it changes the whole mood of the transaction at that point. It's not tit for tat. They understand, like, okay, this is me giving to Krishna, so it's up to me. Like, I have some free will here. No minimum, no maximum. Try it, core and explore, do 20% of the time, see what happens, and just stand back and watch. Don't get too involved and see what people do. You can study human psychology a little bit.
Actually, whatever principles you're mentioning, if you practice it nicely,
Yes.
it can be adopted. But the problem is we are being told to do in some way. So it's becoming difficult to clean up and write it.
Core and explore. Like core, keep doing what you're doing 80%, because that's what you're used to. 20% of the time, either 20% of your day or 20% of your month or whatever it is, try a new thing and see what happens. That's how you grow. What other thing? Yes, Prabhu.
I have a question. As we move more and more into this digital age, and people are stuck on their phones more than reading books. So have you found any impact or like drop in distribution? There's not.
No. In fact, we've been increasing every year by double digits in places where there's plenty of digital available. You know, it's a one-on-one contact. If it was in stores and we're measuring a marketing curve, like how things are going off the shelf, people choosing, and they had an equal choice, digital plus paper, but we don't have that. It's very amorphous to understand the whole market. There are different market segments, like there's age groups. Some age groups are more into electronics, looking at their phone. Other age groups, they're more attached to paper books. But with us, it's a different thing because we're approaching people directly and asking them to make a commitment on the spot. So that kind of, it's a little bit different. Although people do make the excuse, they'll say, you know, I like it on digital or whatever. That's mostly just an excuse. Although we do have digital also. In Europe and America, we put a little code on each book, and that means they can buy the paper book and they can also download a digital copy if they want to. So we always have both available. You can tell Bhima to do that here. The hardest part about MSF is troop movement. Moving everybody out the door to the right spot, and also picking the spots. And once they get there, for the MSF, we keep the bar very low, and we tell them we're not going out to distribute books, we're just going out to touch the pavement. And touch the... You get to your spot, and you just touch. And once you do that, you're done. You don't have to do anything else. Anything after that, we say, is extra. Just like with...
Extra.
Because if you take the pressure off, then a lot of people go, I'll come out, I'll try it. Don't make anybody like nervous, like you have to perform, you have to do well, you have to sell something. Success is not about selling the book in the MSF, it's just joining the party. And if you join the party, you're successful. And naturally, some people are, they're already really attuned to distributing books, so when you take them out, some people are going to start distributing right away. And the other people, they won't feel obligated to do it, but they'll watch other people and they'll feel natural jumping in. But the bar, you keep it down here. Down here. So everyone says, oh, I can do that, it's easy. I can go out. And the other thing is, if you take time with your MSF group to hear and chant together, like get into a group and hear from Sri Upanishad, from Bhagavad Gita, read those things out loud, have some discussion. Then when devotees get used to hearing and chanting together, then they have a taste for distributing more. Prabhu?
So the first law of our this book distribution is our strong sadhana.
Yes.
So for when we are going in monthly Sankirtan festival, how we nourish all the devotees, or what should be what is criteria you are doing for the devotees so that they are doing good sadhana or reading the books and like that. They have self-inspiration also for monthly Sankirtan festival.
The question is, do you make a track of it, or it's like, what is the criteria?
Yeah, both. Just we are going to start. So after some time we have to track also.
No, we don't track it so much, but we encourage people to hear and chant. And we also have regular programs so everyone can hear. And I found sometimes new people come out and they start distributing the books, and then they say, well, what's in these books? I've not read them yet. And then they start getting more interested in reading. One thing complements the other. So just like there's rice and there's dal. Rice is a good food, dal is a good food. But if you put the two together, you get a superfood. Just like today, we were serving the people out in front. There was rice and there was mung dal. So each is a good food, but together, these people are eating a superfood. You get 42% more nutrition when you put the two together. That's according to Jamuna's cookbook. It's a known fact. The rice and beans together, it's a synergy, a synergistic protein they get. So same thing, there's hearing and chanting, and there's going out into the public to distribute books. And they're both good, but when you put the two together, you get super sadhana. And this is how you get really a strong congregation. There's these people, when they learn how to go out on book distribution, and they also learn how to hear and chant together, they become very strong. They come up Madhyamadhikaris. Otherwise, most people trend towards being Kanishtas. And you'd rather have Madhyamas, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
So, as you're explaining it, and as the whole program is concerned, this is a way of increasing the congregation and actually a stepping point, or the first point of bringing people towards Krishna consciousness, using the platform of book distribution. So we can engage more and more people.
Yeah.
Anybody walks into the temple, or anybody, they can all be immediately engaged, and then automatically they will develop. But at present, people just come and go, and there's no.
That's right.
There's no interaction. So this is a method of.
Yes. This is you're saying the correct thing. And the fact is that, you have to engage people once they come, otherwise, how are they going to advance in devotional service? And where's the excitement for them? It's hard for them to get any traction. When politicians, they canvass and they go out and campaign, oftentimes they'll say, if you elect me, I promise jobs, jobs, jobs. Everyone will have jobs. I'll make the economy strong so everyone would be working. So same thing, Sankirtan, the book distribution, it makes jobs, jobs, jobs. Everyone has some service. You're either distributing books, you can give Lakshmi, you can help lots of backup services. And so it's important for a community to have the centerpiece where you can have unlimited expansion of service. More and more people can get involved. Otherwise, they just come and they don't really come up to the next level. So that's why I say, it takes Kanishtas and makes them into Madhyamas. So if you take time to plan it out, and then you execute and go out and use the things that you learned, and the techniques, the communication techniques, things like that in practice. And don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. Be happy if you can just get everybody out the door. That's the 5th time I've said that today, and I'll say it over and over again. Don't worry about the results in the beginning. It's not about the results, how many rupees, or how many books you're distributing. It's about getting everybody together and taking them out on a fun excursion where they get to meet people and show them books. And let the magic happen gradually. And after some time, you'll start to see that, people start to get a taste for it, because it's the internal energy and they'll naturally be attracted to it. And then you can help manage it, support it so it grows. Any last questions?
मुझे कुछ ऐसा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, पुस्तक वितरण करने को जाता हूँ तो अकेला जाता हूँ तो अच्छा होता है, सबके साथ जाता तो नहीं होता है।
He has a difficulty that when he goes alone for book distribution, he does good, but when he goes with the group, then he is not able to sell properly.
वो क्या तकलीफ है प्रभु को?
और फुल टाइम ऐसा है कि मेरे को समझो 9-10 बजे गया तो 1-1.5 घंटे के बाद मैं 2-2:30 बजे तक करता रहता हूँ ऐसा। दूसरा सवाल ये है मेरा ऐसा सवाल है कि मैं जब पुस्तक वितरण करता हूँ तो कभी प्राइस का कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं आता मुझे, और मेन प्रॉब्लम ये आता है कि थोड़ा घर का प्रॉब्लम है, तो उसको कैसे ये करना है। हर 2-3 घंटे के बाद प्रॉब्लम आता है। अभी कल मैं पुस्तक वितरण को गया तो मेरी पत्नी को थोड़ा तकलीफ था, वो चली गई बाहर डिप्रेशन की वजह से।
नहीं, प्राइस का क्या है?
पत्नी मानसिक पूरा बीमार है, तो वो मैं यदि सेवा करने को किधर जाता तो वो कभी डाको चली जाती, कभी अहमदाबाद चली जाती। आज कल अहमदाबाद चली गई रात को 11 बजे 10 बजे। मैं इधर सेवा करके इधर घर पे गया तो चली गई।
अच्छा।
मैं सब जगह पे पूछा घर में।
He has two problems. He likes to distribute alone. He's more productive when he does book distribution alone rather than group.
That's not a problem. It's fine.
आप अकेला कर सकते हैं, अच्छा कर।
हाँ अकेला, हाँ इसलिए साथ में गया तो मेरे को यही ठीक है।
He distributes 1000 Bhagavad Gita a year.
It's not a problem. You can go out. And if you go for the MSF,
मैं 15 साल से पुस्तक वितरण करता हूँ, इसमें 5 साल से नौकरी छोड़ दिया, तो घर का ही प्रॉब्लम ज़्यादा है मेरे को।
Yes.
sadhu, sadhu. Yeah, everybody could, according to their style, they can do. It's not stereotype. So it's fine to go out by yourself. What was the second problem?
Some family.
A small token of appreciation
Hare Krishna.
from the devotees here
Thank you very much. Thank you.
visiting.
Thank you. What was his second problem?
His wife has depression, so she calls when he was in Sankirtan.
She calls him on Sankirtan?
No, calls someone from. She calls him while he was distributing books.
Yeah, that's what I said.
This Hari Chakra, Hari Sham Sundar, Hari Chakra.
So what's wrong with that?
Next day.
She wants him there at home.
I see. Well, that one is a little more detailed. Because I don't want to just give a flat answer to a marital situation. But, that's...
वो बाद में आपसे बात कर सकता है अभी सबके सामने।
ये general principle के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, विशेष उपदेश नहीं दे रहे हैं। You're talking on a general principle.
Well, I understood, yeah, Vishesh. Yeah.
Actually, Vaisesika comes
It
from
comes Vishesh, I know.
So other part about review you can tell later after coming from MS.
Yeah, the devotees, they go out together, a little training in the morning to remind people. You can have some simple training for people. And then when they all go out together, which takes, as I said, a lot of hard work to move the troops out there and the books going. And then once you're out there for a couple hours, then everybody comes back. That's nice. Everybody comes, it's always somewhere in India, something going on.
Construction.
That's the downside to progress. When you come back, everybody sits together and we share realizations. And we did it the other day. We all went out together, we came back, and we shared.
Day before yesterday.
Actually, day before yesterday and the day before. We went out 2 days. Mm-hmm. And it was very effective because a lot of times people, they're going out for the first time and they say, I was scared, but I tried and it was amazing. And other people, they'll say the technique that they used and it worked. And so everybody learns from that and they get enlivened from hearing about the fears of other people, that they overcame them and things like that. So that's a nice part of the MSF. And then you have to have nice prasadam. Because that's one of the things that makes it fun. If you have special prasadam for people, they feel like, it's a festival, it's a Sankirtan festival, right? Feast. Yeah, a feast. And then a lot of people will come just because they get to eat. I mean, living entities, they'll come from everywhere to join. But it just makes it fun and special for the nice prasadam. Hare Krishna. Okay?
Yeah.
What is your opinion? Because it's very important what you feel.
They didn't all come. Only two.
Actually, Bhakti went to Pavel College. He has a program. He and this.
Ram Govinda.
He was here.
Oh, he was.
Just 10 minutes actually.
That's okay.
Any feedback from you? Because you're a leader here. What is your impression of the MSF and on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most difficult thing, like climbing the Mount Everest, and 1 being like, it's no problem?
Actually, I heard about MSF before from Naveen Niratu when
Yeah.
he came here. In last year, ILS also he gave the idea. So it's a good thing, and we are also planning, like very soon we will try to find out the thing and how to implement it as soon as possible.
You can keep in touch with us because we'd like to support you to get started. You know, getting started, and anything you need, like questions you have, or you know, what are the best materials to use, or any supplementary kind of information about lines that we're using and stuff like that, we can back you up like that, because it's.
I talked with you on phone.
Yeah, we can probably come 1-2 days, spend time.
That'd help a lot too. You know, you bring a couple of experts up here when you go out, and they can show you. Maybe you do, 2 days, and some can come out on Saturday, the others can come out on Sunday, and do a little training.
Just 10-15 people, small group, so big groups, and do for 10 people at a time. They get trained.
You mean go in like a needle and come out like a cloud?
Yeah.
You want to do small group first and then bring in the.
Yeah, too many people, they'll get spaced out. So, like 1 day, 15 people, 10 people at least. Just go out and let them some taste and they're relished. They will pass on to others. So, we can help you.
Oh, because like Mantresh Prabhu has 150, 200 people. And you have people, they're taking people on yatras now. Vrindavan, Puri, Mayapur, Dwarka. They just had a yatra to Dwarka, 20 people.
This is another point. When you train for the MSF, then the yatra can change from being just a regular yatra to a Sankirtan yatra. So as an example, I'm going on yatra right now. This is what, our fifth one. And we rebranded our yatra, so we call it a Sankirtan yatra. We're not just taking devotees around. Here's where, different Leela happen. I'll be in Puri in a few days. We've got 5,000 books for 5 days. And the last 2 years, we did 5,000 books and 5,000 pieces of prasadam in 2 days with 100 devotees, and none of them speak Oriyan, Hindi, Bengali. And so, the whole yatra is organized. So when the devotees go out, get on the buses and go, everyone's got a book bag. And everyone's got prasadam to give out, and they all have a little language card. You got Bengali, Hindi, depends where you are, which holy place you're at, but you have the language card. And then they just go around and they can, those are the best places to do book distribution. You can do huge on these yatras. And you get, your whole group will get trained up too. We had like 25 devotees from China on our yatra last time, and they got so fired up about book distribution, from trained and being on the yatra, because it's easier in the Dham to distribute books. So that's an idea too. What do you think?
Yeah. We didn't implement, actually we do distribution in the train. When we went to Jagannath Puri Yatra, so we distributed around 12,000 rupees books, like
just on the way there.
Yeah, it's a 36 hours journey.
Train is like a captive audience. Yeah, it is.
That's right.
People do have money at that time.
Yeah. But even during the yatra you can do, because, and we make special stop, that Puri bus station? It's as big as an airport. I mean, you get in there and it goes on forever and ever. We always stop, that's one of our pilgrimage stops. On our way to...
Near the Gundicha temple, the Puri bus stop?
Yeah. On the way, when we're going to Dandabanga, we stop all the buses there and we all get off. We have Harinam and we, infiltrate the place and get on all the buses, distribute books for about an hour and a half. Then we get back in and we go to our spot. When you add that into your yatra, the yatra becomes much more fun and interesting for all the devotees. So you're already doing on the train, so you know what I'm talking about. But it's just a little more logistics because you have to bring in all the books and the prasadam. Anyway, this is, you have everything it takes here to expand MSF because you have the leadership that's behind it. You have
It's a good idea.
trained up, all the devotees that are trained up. You have big congregation, and you just take a slow, steady approach, and it'll be the shot heard around India and the world.
How
That
many temples
Baroda,
in India are doing this monthly
about 5,
on a regular basis?
yeah.
But the numbers of the people going out are not so great.
Yeah, but one thing is,
I'm just, curious.
it's sometimes there's a spike in the beginning and it comes back down, like the foam on milk. It comes down to where the actual milk is.
Yeah.
But what we're noticing now is that, and it really varies depending on the place, that there's residual good effects from the monthly Sankirtan festival. Like Pune, although they're still doing MSF, and it started in a big way, and it came down a little bit, but it had residual effects on all the other parts of their distribution. That's why they were number 2 last year, because there's a lot more awareness about book distribution and a lot more training. So they moved up from 7 to 2.
I see.
So it does.
Are you
have
going
its
to
effect.
Russia, by the way? You haven't taken that up yet. India is, of course.
I have my book is in Russian.
Oh.
No, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's in Russian. The book's in Russian, and
I didn't see it, that's all.
my website's in Russian.
Oh.
But I am not going to
You
Russia
haven't been
now.
moving around in there.
Not Russia.
You should.
Yeah.
It's a big-
As soon as we get MSF going here,
Yeah.
then I'll go to Russia.
No, you can get going. I don't think this is something that's, something objectionable or something we don't want to do. I think they'll do it once a month.
If Vasu Ghosh Prabhu says it's going to happen, it'll happen, in my opinion.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
Gaur Premanande, Vancha Kalpadurvasha, Kripasanabhevacha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. It's been a real honor and a pleasure being here. Thank you for what you're doing. It's very
Pretty
important.
brief, but
Hare
short, but
Krishna.
sweet.
Yeah, it was very
Come
sweet
again.
for me. Thank you very much. We did a lot in a few hours. Yeah.
Welcome
Hare Krishna.
anytime.
Thank you.